Hey guys, welcome back to the You, Me, and a Mic podcast. Diego here. This is episode 3, part 1. This week I sat down with a friend of mine. His name is Serdar Aydemir. He also goes by Jerry, so you'll hear me refer to him by the name Jerry a lot. He wrote a book called Halorum. I never met anybody that had written a book before, and it just fascinated me. He took a year and just wrote this book that he had kind of the idea of it in his head since like high school. So it was really interesting to get background on how he got started in the process of writing a book. The book itself, again, is called Halorum. It reminds me a lot of Lord of the Rings, so it's really interesting, full of action, dark versus light. So without further ado, here is Serdar, also known as Jerry, about his book Halorum.
Yeah, it doesn't, I wouldn't say that it kills my battery. It definitely uses the battery, but one, I put it on airplane mode because the first podcast, I made the mistake of not putting it on airplane mode. So every once in a while, I'd get an email, and so you hear like a alert. You'd hear like a ding,
and on the mic.
It would like pick it up, and I was like, and then I was like, oh man, what if I got a call or something? And like something else happened where like basically it interrupted recording, so it stopped recording, and like they caught it, and then like had it record again. But I was like, just airplane mode. It's like these are the if you're giving me your time, I'm giving you my full attention. No one's interrupting me.
Right.
Like I'm kind of cut off.
How many did you do so far? 3, 4.
First one, the first one I did, I'm not gonna release, or I might release like way later because it was just so terrible quality, and
because you weren't using that.
I was using that, but then I was using it from like a really far distance, and then I was eating on it, and then I forgot that I was being recorded, so I started saying some shit, and it was with my best friend in the world, so it was like
you got carried away and didn't
way too carried away.
Yeah.
And then the second one was with my other best friend, and that one was the first one I released, and that was more serious, and I sat down and did that whole thing, and so I consider that's 2. Then I did one with my friend Josue, and that was 3, but that's going to be in 2 parts because we talked for like 4 hours.
Holy shit.
So, and my buddy, who I've kind of been like brainstorming this with and getting like to try to make it better, he's like, just stick to an hour. Like that's 30 minutes to work, 30 minutes back.
Yeah.
Like anything longer than that is going to be too rough.
It's like too much content.
Right. And so that's why I'm splitting that one into 2. And then I did one last week with my buddy. His name is Josh Silva. He goes by C's.
Yeah, I saw that. That's a cool sign.
Yeah, it is cool. I know. That's what I'm going to put, like, you'll have one for your name, but like I'm doing like all the guests' name on that. And that one, I haven't had a chance to listen through. That was the one where I got drunk way too early. Like,
was that the one where you showed me the video? You showed me a video.
Yeah.
When you were like hammered.
Yeah, that was that was the one. And so I don't even know. I'm gonna have to figure out how that. I'm probably gonna cut that so much out of that it'll be like 1 episode.
Yeah.
And then so next week I'm gonna release part 2, that one. Then and maybe that's why I don't want to burn out and do like 1 a week, even though I could right now. But so I'll probably wait a couple weeks, then release the Josh one, and I'm recording 2 more. I'm recording the one next week with my best friend, the first one, but like a good one. And then my cousin, who's like a professional videographer, doing that one in 2 weeks.
Nice.
And so I'll always have like 2 or 3 banked while the next one releases. So yours will probably be released in like a month.
Nice.
And then I want to re-record one in like 3-4 months. Once I read the book and once it's kind of like that first one's released, a couple released from then, to then kind of promote the book again.
Yeah.
And that going to the book itself.
Nice. That's a good plan.
Trying. And by then I'll definitely have the new mic set up, which will be a lot more professional. And I think it'll be a lot better quality. Yeah.
So you're going to have 1 mic for each person?
Each person, yeah. I'm eventually going to do like a total of like a 3 mic setup. So in a situation where I have, because it's usually mainly just me and one other person, but if I have two other people, then I can have a mic on that side, and then 3 people sit here or whoever, they can kind of pass around that third mic. And then
that's good. That'd be rad.
I'm trying to reach out to, because I was like, I need to like utilize my resources and basically kind of like pay a musician friend of mine who's good with like not editing, but like stuff for mixing. So that like give him like $20 an episode. I send him the file and he like make sure all the levels are clean, make sure everything's equalized, and kind of just give it a little touch up as far as the quality. And then because I have so many friends in the music business that it's like, I can get one of them to do that because it's less. I kind of did the math. I'm like, this would be like maybe 20-30 minutes of their time just sitting there, because they're not going to cut it or edit it. I'll send it to them already edited. They're just running it through their equalizer, running it through their leveler, anything they kind of pick up on, like a weird like crack line, and then you can just kind of touch it up and make it more like like kind of raise the lower deep tone, so it's more like a radio feel. Right. So
nice.
So yours will definitely be done that way. So that'll be good.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm excited.
You can put them on where? Like what are you gonna use?
Like what platform?
Yeah.
All of them right now are being uploaded to iTunes and Stitcher.
Okay.
So Stitcher is for Android users, and it's just the podcast app, but that's the iTunes for any Apple. And I use a website called Spreaker, and that's where it's like a host, and that one is where I upload it, and then that automatically distributes it. It puts it on Spreaker, which nobody listens to that, but then it immediately uploads it to both iTunes and Stitcher.
Yeah.
And then it's cool because it gives me my reading, so it lets me know like, hey, it gives me like a map, and it goes, okay, this day, this many people downloaded, this many people streamed, and lets me know. And then when I go onto the individual, like I went on iTunes the other day, and it lets me know like people are usually listening for about 45 minutes, and they're like
then you can gauge it and like you know how to like do your formatting and everything, and you can come like a finalized format.
Yeah. So it's just getting tighter and tighter. The more I
that's what happens. The more you do it, the more you learn, and the better you get at it. It's like when I did video work years and years and years ago, it was like similar concept. It was like, from like dicking around to like figuring out.
Hey Google, stop. I just realized that's just going on. But what's funny is that every time I use Google, I walk toward it as if I have to touch it.
Oh, yeah.
So I get closer and I go, I just talk. Every time I do that, I forget.
Yeah, Google. Quit it.
Hey Google, knock it off.
So it only knows your voice, right?
I think so. Well, I don't know. I think I set it up. It's learning. I think my kids can talk to it and it'll listen. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think, depending on whether they're speaking clearly or not.
Yeah. You saw anything there?
So, Serdar? Welcome to the podcast, dude. Serdar Aydemir. That's right? It's weird calling you Serdar, huh?
I bet, coming from like you.
From me, yeah. Because I know he was Jerry.
That's like if anyone else at work like said something like that. Yeah.
It just sounds so formal. Serdar. Also known as Jerry. Dude, once I started like reading the book, this is what I pictured.
What do you mean? Like how?
This guy on the back of the book.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the back of the book because you have an image of a knight with angel wings on the front.
Yeah.
And then you have a dark demon hooded figure with chains and stuff. But when I was reading the beginning of the book, that is what I pictured when you described the hooded guy that like runs
with the character
and
chases,
disappears kind of.
Uh-huh.
Which I'm interested to find out what really like.
Yeah, so that is not that particular character.
No, that isn't. Oh, got it.
But it is something else.
Got it. I got it. I got a feeling. Got it. Okay. But that just goes to.
But no, it's cool that that it helps visualize that, that because it is like like the cloaked figure, whatever, similar, obviously, but
yes. So before I just jump into it, because I have questions,
How far did you get?
I got to close to the end of chapter 2.
Okay.
Oh no, chapter 3. Wherever I last left off, where I told you I got like halfway through that. Because I was reading at work, and
I think was it yesterday you said you were starting 3, I think.
Started 3, so I got halfway through 3.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, I'm excited.
You like it?
Yes. Because and this is a compliment. I have struggled with reading. So I am a terrible reader. I struggle with just reading in general. This reminds me of like the books I used to read when I was like in junior high, and like so there wasn't huge words, so it wasn't like I wasn't getting caught up on a like what the fuck is that word?
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, the story.
It's difficult sometimes to describe because a lot of people ask me, "Oh, what's your book about? What's your book about?" But it's kind of hard sometimes to actually because there's a lot of shit in that book.
Yeah.
Like,
No, there
and
is.
It's not like one main character that you follow from their perspective, which a lot of books would be. It's not like like it blends a lot of styles. It takes a lot of influence from a lot of different styles, heavily influenced from Tolkien. Because I absolutely love Lord of the Rings. I love anything he writes, Silmarillion, all that kind of stuff. And the Silmarillion, by the way, took me probably 10 years to read.
Oh, God,
because
yeah.
I started reading it and I was like, I can't read this. I don't know what's going on. And then it's just sat on my shelf, and then got back to it like a year ago. So influenced by like world building, that's what I'm into. Creating history on it, and expanding that. So, but not just like the fantasy and the amazingness of the world and the creatures or characters or places or whatever, but adding grittiness to it. I love to mix that style where there'll be parts of it where it's very fantasy oriented, otherworldly beings, or how you're describing in the beginning, the character on the back of the book, the cover,
Mm-hmm.
But also the realism, the violence of it,
Mm-hmm.
it's adult content.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So basically, and the Kingdom of Light. When I say so, Kingdom of Light it's Halorum. So that's the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Kingdom of Halorum. And I have no idea how I actually got to that name, but I know that I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist. So, but I took because I had the idea. The whole idea started with that character on the back.
Oh, so with the dark character.
Yeah.
That's an interesting. That's interesting.
So that's started everything in a poem. That being interacting with a normal human. And at that time, because I wrote the poem in 2008, and it was a shower thought poem. In the shower, and just, and then just random radio waves or whatever pass through my head, and then I start it's like I got possessed. I started saying these things like a story.
It's interesting that you say that because that ties in with your book.
Yeah, exactly.
Possession.
Yeah. So
isn't that what the characters are called? The
possessed.
The possessed. Yeah.
And that's what one of those main characters that you meet in the very first chapter, Polira. That's what her order is. The order of the Reaper Knights.
Yeah.
That's what they're there to do. They were established to seek out and